Somewhere in the desert, amongst the sand dunes and the scorching sun, lived an old man. He lived on his own. He came here many, many years ago, seeking peace and solitude. And so he found a beautiful but tiny little oasis with one well, with just enough water for him to never go thirsty, and a small green patch where he could grow vegetables and some fruit. And so he lived here happily, and many years have passed, and no people ever came here. And he learned how to count the stars and find his way. He learned about the different phases and moods of the sand dunes and how they form. And he spent hours and hours listening to the stories of the wind. He was happy here. And one night, as he walked out from his hut and looked at the stars, breathing in the magic that they brought, he suddenly saw a figure on the horizon. The moon shined so bright. He could see that it was moving, and yet it was so small. He suddenly heard a cry and realized that it was a child, a baby. Quickly he walked up and got the little child. It was wrapped in white clothes. He brought him into his hut and looked closely. The child was very little. It curiously looked at an old man, smiling. "I wonder where you came from," the old man whispered. "The winds must have brought you here. Well, you're welcome to stay, little one, for we are so far away from any humans that I wouldn't even know where to bring you to seek for your parents." And as he unwrapped the child, he suddenly noticed that there was another parcel attached to the kid. It was wrapped in white camel leather. And as he unwrapped it, he noticed that it was a tail, a wolf's tail to be precise. It was quite long and coarse. It was grey with silver strings shooting through it. It was beaming with life and vibrancy, and yet it was lifeless. What a strange thing, an old man thought. He wrapped it back into the leather and put it far away in the shelf in his hut. He didn't think more of it. He spent years looking after a boy, and soon the boy grew into a fine young man. He helped his father on the small oasis to grow vegetables and fruit and look after the well. He played with beetles and insects and watched them dig burrows in the sand and create beautiful patterns with their movement. He saw some birds arrive and learned their songs. He made friends with insects and butterflies and played with the bubbles on the water surface. He loved his life here. It was peaceful, quiet, and yet so vibrant. he knew everything, and he loved his dad. But over time, he got sad, as if something was missing. And one day, as he was looking through the hut to find something else to play with, he found the white parcel stuck deep down somewhere in the corner in the hut. He trembled with excitement and opened it to find a grey silver tail of a wolf. Wow, he thought, how magnificent! He clapped and grabbed it, and as soon as the boy touched the tail vibrated and came alive. It glistened even brighter than the moon above him, so silvery. And as the boy was fascinated looking at it, the tail started to move and shake and wave from side to side. And soon it flew out from the hands of the boy, got behind his back and attached itself to it. "Oh no," said the boy, "oh no!" He started to look right and left, trying to shake the tail off, but he couldn't. He tried to rip it apart and pull it apart with his hands, but it also wouldn't work. "Dad, Dad," he called his daddy, and both of them tried to get the tail off, but they couldn't. Nothing worked. Instead, the tail got stronger and stronger, more vibrant. And soon it was so strong that it started to pull the boy to the sides. The tail was moving the boy now. "Father, Father, I can't stop it," he said. And the old man, seeing what was happening, looked at his son and said, "My darling, I think you have no choice but to follow this tail. It will lead you to places that might reveal you something about yourself, for you see this tail arrived with you. It was part of the parcel when I found you in the sun dune." And so he gave the boy food and clothes and blessed him on his journey. "I shall return," the boy said. "I'll find the way to get this damn tail off me, and I shall return, Dad." And the tail carried the boy up the dunes, and soon the old man no longer could see him. He whipped and whipped, and wept for days and nights, and soon accepted the destiny of his son. And so years have passed. The old man grew older and wiser, and closer to the stars and the moon and the sands and the wind. And one day, or one night rather, as he stood looking at the sun rolling down and setting all sky ablaze with rutilant colors, the man suddenly noticed a figure on the horizon. High on the sun dune, there was an animal sitting. He heard the howl. A wolf. The wolf came down the sun dune and ran towards the man. The old man stepped back, but then stopped. As the wolf came closer, he looked into his eyes, and he recognized them. Those were the eyes of his son. And with tears rolling down his old cheeks, he dropped on his knees, spread his arms open, and hugged the beast in front of him. "My son," he said, "my son, you have returned." And he saw the tear drop from the wolf's eye. "Hello, father," the wolf said. "It is indeed me. Thank you for seeing me, for seeing the sun in the wolf. I spent many years traveling, looking for ways to get rid of this tale. I went to the forests, enchanted kinds. I went to the ocean and sat by the whispering rolling waves. I went to the rivers, wild and frozen. I went to the sun, scorching and warm. I sat with the moon and howled and sung with it. But instead of finding a way to get rid of a tail, I started to walk on my fours. My ears got sharper. My face stretched out. My senses got wilder. And I became a wolf. The tail took over. And as I walked the lands, I found others like me, others that also were seeking how to get rid of their tails. Others that were like me but also different, for they had fox's tail, owl wings, buffalo skins, bear claws. And so we traveled together, people of different kinds. And over time, all of us became wilder. And so, my tail in the moon led me here, Father. And so the others came with me too, if you wish to accept us. Of course, said the old man, of course. People of all kinds are welcomed here. If you bring them here, my son, I trust you, and I already love them. The wolf howled to the moon, and there, in the shadows of silver light, came the others. The buffalo people, the fox people, the bird people, the reptilian people, the bear people, the tortoise people, the butterfly people, the bat people. All different kinds came coming down from the sand dune and into the man's oasis. And over time, everyone shared the gift that they had. Somebody looked after the land and others after the water. Some dug burrows and brought irrigation. Others knew stars and drew the light to the land. The wolf howled to the moon, for it shined to everything around. And soon the oasis grew and blossomed and was so vibrant with life and abundance that people started to find way here. And they would come to gather the fruit and listen to the man's stories and look at the animal people of all kinds. And it's since then that this oasis became known as a wolf's tail place, a place where everyone is home.